movie that you might want to watch. I know I'm going to be watching it. I know Brendan's going to be watching it. Well, yeah, Brendan will watch it. He'll just take a long time to watch it because he never watches anything new.
That's right. I really don't.
So, hey, we're not lying about it. But yeah, and that's the Deadpool movie. It just was recently confirmed by Fox that they are in production. It is slated for a 2016 release date, so not too far away. It's going to be interesting. It's going to kind of butt heads. I believe X-Men Apocalypse is coming out sometime that year, like the May, June, July slot. So we might see a Deadpool movie, hopefully like February, a little bit earlier, or maybe later in August. But they haven't given us an exact month. But we do have some confirmations. Tim Miller will be the director. Really, I saw 3 movies that he had directed so far, and none of them looked that great. I don't even remember what they are, so that'll tell you something. But Ryan Reynolds is going to be reprising his role as Deadpool, and the only other time he did it was in the Wolverine Origins movie, which was a horrible movie, but he did good in that role.
He was fine. I mean, honestly, he didn't have to. It was a weird role to really judge an actor by because
it was 2 minutes long.
Being himself was a fairly short amount of it, and then he did have the big stuff at the end, but it was just action, and you couldn't really get a lot of acting out of him in that state. So
yeah, and they ruined Deadpool in that movie, by the way. They just ruined him. Simply ruined it. But yeah, so he'll be back. But if you were able to check out that test footage that leaked around Comic-Con, which was amazing. It was CGI, and it was kind of like, this is the direction we're planning on going. Ryan Reynolds did do the Deadpool voice for the CGI, and it was
CGI, but you barely noticed. Like, that was the level of well-done CGI it was.
Yeah, now I don't think this movie is going to be CGI. I think it is going to be live action, but if they did it CGI, and they did it as well as they did the test footage, I would not complain. I think it would be awesome CGI. Actually, I'm almost looking forward to a CGI movie, but it won't hurt. It won't be bad if they do live action.
Mm-hmm.
But, so if you saw that he was really the, I mean, just his wittiness, his quirkiness really kind of fits what we all know from the comics. You know, the Merc with the mouth. So this is really, it's heading in the right direction. Everything is kind of lining up to be what we want it to be.
And at least in the previews, it looked like they weren't going to try to water things down at all, really, or at least not much, which is a little bit of a fear. And still, with the movie coming out, they might, because I know everyone really likes to hit that PG-13 slot, but really Deadpool probably should get that R to really bring out all the Deadpool-ness. Yeah.
Now, it's funny that you mention it. There was actually a recent interview with Tim Miller, the director, and he said they are probably going to aim for a PG-13.
Yeah, I know. That's what they always aim for, because it's a better business slot, apparently, especially for big action movies like that. Everyone always goes to PG-13.
You can push it a little bit more. PG-13s nowadays, I'd say, are a little bit more risque, if that's the proper term, than they used to be, but it's not quite where I would want it to be. I know in a PG-13 you can drop one F-bomb, and that's it. Any more F-bombs than that, and it's rated R. And in the test footage, they did drop an F-bomb. So, you know, it was
I've seen certain movies get around that in funny ways. Like, there was one movie that I was surprised. They dropped, like, 2 or 3, but the guy says it once, and then every other time is a recording of him saying it. Because they recorded they review the tape of a previous scene or something like that. So it's like, oh, well, he only really said it once, right?
Yeah. And I could see them going ahead and recording all the cursing, all the big stuff, you know, all the blood and guts, and then figuring out a way to kind of, you know, because they also, movies, they distinguish between if you chop off somebody's head and show them chopping it off, or, like, let's say you hold up a head, if there's blood dripping from the head, then that makes it more rated R, but if you have just a bloodless head, it's not quite rated R. You know, it's how much blood is sprayed and, you know, how much... So, like, look at the Dark Knight movie. That movie was very, very dark. I mean, that could have been rated R. Joker pushes a guy's head onto a pencil at one point, but the way they cut it, you didn't quite see everything. They implied it. You knew what went on, but you didn't quite see it. So they might try to take that turn with Deadpool.
They maybe, but Deadpool's not... Imply. like Dark Knight had the ability to do that because you could still get the grittiness, you could still do kind of the old style filmmaking and not show everything, but you get the grittiness and the seriousness in that. But Deadpool is just so comical that some of his comedy, like in that preview, was playing with dead things and being gruesome rather explicitly.
It's true. But in the comics, like if you look at the comics, yeah, he drops a lot of curse words. Most of the time in the comics, they kind of put, like the hashtag weird symbols there that represent the curse words. You know what curse words he's saying, but they don't necessarily print them. So they could almost go the same way. I mean, how would you feel about them like bleeping out different curse words?
They would have to do it just right, which maybe Deadpool could do with the whole, his like super awareness. The only way I would accept it is if they actually did something like not bleeped, but showed those like hashtag whatever stuff every time he talked.
Yeah, that might be
cool.
Like
did one of the kind of in a similar style as the old Batman show. He'd be like, "Bam, wowzy," but with curse words.
Yeah, see, that might be pretty cool. I mean, there are ways, I guess, around some of the censors to still target it at a PG-13 audience and still get it out as a PG-13 without sacrificing a lot. But if they do it that way, they better release a DVD version with everything in it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just not confident, but we'll see. We'll see. They'd have to do it really well. I guess we'll see how they do, but yeah, I don't like that they're trying for PG-13, but like I said, I know why they are, and I expect them to.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. They want to make a successful movie. If you don't make one, if it's not successful, nobody sees it, then what's the point of making movies? Yeah, there's the artistic part, but I don't think Deadpool is really an artistic movie. It's just a fun movie that I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's plenty of PG-13 movies out there that I've really enjoyed. So I guess in synopsis, we're hoping for the rated R, but expecting a PG-13.
This seems like one that they're going to have to really hold back a lot to make a PG-13. So
yeah, so hoping for a rated R, but expecting a PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of how I think we're seeing it. So, I don't know. Let us know what you think. Is there any ways around some of these things to still showcase all of Deadpool and his comical, gory, bloody, fighting, cursing, just potty mouthness? Or should they just, is that going to... I don't know. How would that even hold the movie back? I don't think they could. They should just go rated R. Let me know in comments down below that you want it rated R too. Let's take a vote. Maybe if we can get 70,000 votes, or what is it, 75,000 petitions, President Obama will have to comment on it. Let's go to whitehouse.gov. That's what we should do. Be like, President Obama, we want you to endorse a rated R movie. That would be really weird. That would probably, you probably wouldn't want to jump into that storm.